Okay, so a couple of days ago, I actually made a video talking about how there is a really good chance that this upcoming Nintendo Direct is going to suck. Yeah, it's not going to be that good. And I made it at the beginning of this week, and that was already with just a new trailer that we received from Mario vs. Donkey Kong with some new information, and some information that Nintendo released with another code recollection. But this week already, it's only Wednesday, and Nintendo has already revealed 2 more things and showed off more trailers for those things. That includes Princess Peach Showtime, where they showed off a brand new trailer, dropped the official website, and it has tons of extra gameplay showed off. They just kind of threw that on Twitter, and then they also just gave us the release date for Splatoon 3's Side Order DLC. So another code is actually out now, so we can push that to the side. Don't really need to talk about that. So let's talk about what else we've gotten. So with an in-depth deep dive for Mario vs. Donkey Kong, showing us more levels, everything that's going to be included in the game, and we got a deep dive for Princess Peach Showtime, even extended gameplay clips of some of the transformations, and we just got an official release date and a little bit more footage of Splatoon 3's Side Order DLC. There's not much else to expect. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is probably done. It's a very small game. They show that there's going to be more worlds and more levels and some things change, so there's not much else they need to do there. It comes out with just a couple of weeks. This is also the third look we've gotten for Princess Peach Showtime. We saw the initial reveal, then we saw the transformations trailer, and then we see another trailer with 2 more transformations, and they drop a whole bunch of footage. I don't think there's much else that they want to show. They might show maybe 1 more trailer before it releases, but I highly doubt it's going to have more than just like a minute in a Nintendo Direct. That leaves us with Splatoon's Side Order DLC. It was weird that they just dropped a release date on Twitter. Like, this is something that easily could have been in a Nintendo Direct. I mean, considering the fact it's at the end of February, this is something they could have showed off more in the Direct, dropped a release date and saying, oh, it's just in a couple of weeks we can actually get our hands on this DLC. So yeah, why would they just drop a little snippet? It doesn't even show really anything else with the actual gameplay. It just shows a release date trailer. So yeah, this is very strange. It's also weird that this was supposed to be coming in spring, Nintendo said, and this is actually releasing at the end of February on February 22nd. So it seems like they were done a bit early or ready to release it a bit early, maybe to make room for something else down the road. Switch 2? Nah, okay, I'm not really talking about Switch 2 all that much this video, at least not yet. The main question here is Nintendo going to even have a Nintendo Direct in February? Right now, there's so many rumors and leaks saying that there is going to be a Direct and there's going to be a Switch presentation the month after in March. There's some people saying, no, there's not going to be a Nintendo Direct and we're just going to have the Switch presentation. There's some people saying we're just going to have a Nintendo Direct and there's going to be no Switch 2 presentation whatsoever. So it's really hard to say, but with all this information out on Twitter, it seems as if Nintendo is not really putting a focus on this Nintendo Direct. I mean, seriously, there's probably about 2 ways that you can handle this. You could say maybe Nintendo is just getting stuff out of the way. And they're like, look, we have a lot of stuff to announce. We don't want to sit on all these like ports, remakes, and remasters and stuff. We want to talk about new things. Because right now, there's nothing huge in Nintendo's slate whatsoever. The biggest game being Princess Peach Showtime, and it looks like it's going to be on the scale of a fun little game that's over before we know it, along the lines of like a Yoshi game or something like that. So Nintendo really needs to put out some heavy hitters, and maybe they're just making room for that. So maybe this upcoming Nintendo Direct is actually packed full of fun new games, whether it is tons of ports and more remakes or remasters and stuff to announce, and Nintendo's just gearing up for that, just clearing the slate right now, getting rid of all the stuff that we do know and just jumping into a whole bunch of stuff that we don't. But normally that's not what Nintendo does. Nintendo normally spends a lot of the Nintendo Direct full of just more information on games that we have coming out, so maybe that's just a different approach that they're having this time around, considering the fact that there's only 2 more games that they could possibly talk about, being Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which they've already had like 2.5, 3 trailers for the thing. It's an old game on a 3DS. There's not much else they need to talk about for. They already kind of explained everything that's coming to it with just like the multiplayer and scare-scraper stuff again, but that's really about it for Luigi's Mansion, so they don't even need to touch on it. And the last one I could think of would be Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. Now, Nintendo did slap a 2024 release date where they gave Luigi's Mansion 2 a summer release date, so my bet is that Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door could be a later end of the year title, one of the last games on the original Nintendo Switch before moving on to that new console. I'm still predicting around an August or some type of fall date for this game, or maybe it could be pushed up to a lot sooner. Nintendo could be pushing up their whole entire schedule, maybe putting Luigi's Mansion 2 now at late spring or early spring, and then Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door could be a summer title, just trying to get everything out before the summer ends, so that way when we jump into the fall fall and into the winter months. That way we can just kind of all be into the Switch 2 moment, you know, all the Switch 2 games and the Switch 2 talk and everything like that. So I don't know, it's hard to say. This is one of the only games I think Nintendo needs to give another trailer for, and honestly it still might be too early. If the game isn't coming out into the fall, they might wait a while. I don't know, I could see maybe another small trailer, but they've already showed a lot of the game. It's just pretty much very faithful and true to the original, just looking a whole lot cleaner and better. The only thing that they would need to show is if there's any new modes or additions, or maybe like that Luigi side mode showing his adventure and stuff. So like, yeah, they don't need to show a whole lot. So I'd honestly say I don't even know if I expect there to be lots of information or much new information at all, or even a new trailer quite yet. We might have to wait a little while. What if this Nintendo Direct isn't huge at all? In fact, it's relatively small. Even if it happens, it could be very, very tiny, just full of ports, remakes, and remasters like Metroid Prime 2, a Zelda port or remake, you know, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess stuff, maybe F-Zero GX finally comes, and just some other ports and remakes like Xenoblade X was even rumored, a, you know, Fire Emblem, I think the 4th Fire Emblem game was rumored to come back, you know, in a remaster. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they could just slap onto the Switch, but that would make for an awfully boring Nintendo Direct, let's be honest. Now, I will say once again, there's a chance that we don't even have a Nintendo Direct at all. If Nintendo is shoehorning all of these games out, that means we could very well just skip February's Nintendo Direct, or at least the traditional Direct that we're expecting for the Nintendo Switch. Now, this doesn't mean all doom and gloom. Nintendo isn't going throughout this year with their biggest game being Princess Peach Showtime. I still do believe the Switch 2 is coming at the end of this year, and I believe it is coming with that big open world 3D Mario game, and it's almost time for Nintendo to talk about it. If that is in fact going to be the big holiday game, Nintendo is kind of running out of time to bring this thing up, so I believe this thing is going to be brought up in either February or March, which means that might be when we get that presentation. I mean, don't be super surprised if we jump into the first couple of weeks of February and still don't hear anything about a Nintendo Direct, but instead, Nintendo's just revealing some things and showcasing some things on Twitter, which could ultimately result in us just skipping the Direct and going straight to a Switch 2 presentation, and maybe that's where they reveal some more ports and stuff coming to the new console as well, along with some really cool brand new titles also. I know there's still some Nintendo Switch 2 haters out there saying that this is not happening, Nintendo Land, but it's just all but clear that something is about to shift at Nintendo. Things seem a little too quiet and a little too bleh right now, you know what I mean? It's just nothing but ports, remasters, and remakes, and just nothing to really look forward to right now. And it just feels like it is the calm before the storm, and that any day now, any week, any month, Nintendo could reveal this new console and also some really exciting new games coming to this new hardware. But let me know what you think down below. Does this mean anything? Nintendo has definitely shown off a couple of trailers before and still talked about games within a Nintendo Direct, but man, Nintendo's came out and pretty much showed everything recently. So do you think there's still going to be a Nintendo Direct? Do you think it's going to be a big one? Do you think it's going to be a small one? And do you still think there's going to be a Switch 2 presentation very, very close to this Nintendo Direct, showcasing some of the bigger, you know, heavy hitter titles that we're expecting? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. A lot of you guys watching this video are not yet subscribed. Let's see how many people we can get to subscribe from this one video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.